Hey everybody, how y'all doing this evening or afternoon or morning or wherever you are, what time of day it is. Hey, hope that everybody's doing well. We're going to get this thing started in just a little while, just a few minutes. Hey Kevin, how's it going, buddy? Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. We're going to be doing some talking about fall bass fishing, guys, and we're just going to go from there. Hey Tim, how you doing? Hope everything is well. Thank you for coming in and supporting. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. We're going to be talking about some fall bass fishing tips, techniques, and baits. And we're going to have a little question and action, guys. So that's going to be pretty cool if y'all have any questions or just want to drop something. What's going on, Alex? Thank you for stopping by. If y'all want to ask any questions or anything like that, I'll be having that ready to try to answer it, and we'll all help each other, guys, grow. That's what it's all about. We'll all help each other grow by sharing our knowledge and just sharing with each other what we know and what's working for us in our area. So that's really what's cool about it. Whether you fish for bass, catfish, or whatnot, anything out there, it's all, we're all one big community, guys, and that's really what it's all about. Yeah. So, for station identification, guys, I'm going to do what I always do. Hey, y'all, my name is Patrick, and you're watching Paul Man's Bass. And, guys, I am so excited to be coming to you this afternoon because, man, I don't do lives. This is really, my third live since I've been on YouTube. And, it's been really cool, guys. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're just going to be, talking, sharing, and talking about some fall bass fishing in general. So the first thing, guys, first thing, what's going on, 351? Thank you for stopping by, brother. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So what we're going to be doing, guys, just talking about the fall transition, the fall, everything that's going on right now. I know in every area, guys, there's different things going on. And from your part to my part, even right across the street, two different bodies of water. It's crazy how those two bodies of water can be totally different. So that's one thing that we're going to touch on today. And also baits and techniques that we're using to help everybody catch bass. It's just not about, one person going out and being successful. It's about bringing everybody together so we can all be successful in the water, guys. So I'm going to cut right into it because it's no need to waste too much time, guys. And again, thank you all for that stopping by. I really appreciate the support. Um, yeah, yeah. So it feels like I've been away for a little while, guys. And by that, I mean the past 6 weeks have been crazy. A lot of people don't know. A bunch of people in the comments, two people in general, they know what's been going on. But this is my first time telling you guys that for the last 6 weeks I've been in a tournament. You're like, what? A tournament that lasted 6 weeks? Yes. I've been in a tournament, guys. And Jordan, how you doing, brother? Thank you for coming in and stopping by. I've been in a tournament for the last 6 weeks, so I got a lot of catching up I have to do. So everybody, I just want to let y'all know that everybody that's in the comment section, those that have channels, what's going on, Brian? I will catch up, guys. I promise you I will catch up. I know I got a lot of videos to watch, 2 weeks behind, but I will make sure I stop by the channel and show that support. And you know it. Hi, Skinner. How you doing, brother? Thank you for stopping by. So for the past 6 weeks, I've been in a tournament, guys. Shane Flint Outdoors hosted a tournament starting September the 21st till November the 2nd, guys. And that's just a long time. And the rules were really specific, but I'm going to break that down in my next video. So that's going to be something that I'm going to touch another time. But just want to let you know where I was at, guys. So one thing, thank you, Brian. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. One thing that I want to touch on, guys, is the transition. So we all know, guys, we all know that, when it comes down to the transition, fish are moving everywhere, but they're feeding, but they're transitioning from their summer habitats to their fall and into winter. So that's really what we have to do. We have to follow the transition. Those that are higher up north, they're further ahead than us that's down south. So that's a big difference there. But we got to follow what's going on with the nights getting cooler and everything that's going on, guys. The, the leaves changing and the bass and the fish doing everything different. It's time to follow and find them. So the best ways when I think about when I go to the water and I'm trying to break down the area where to fish. So first places that I'm looking at points, I'm looking at flats, I'm looking at shallow areas that are adjacent to deeper areas. So you're looking for places that are ambush points. Bass are feeding up for the winter time, so they are on a different level right now. They're feeding up to eat whatever's out there. And that's what's really cool, guys, because it doesn't take, too much to get out there and catch them. It's some technique to it, but it doesn't take too much to get out there and catch them, guys. And that's one thing that's really cool when you're going out bass fishing and you're locating where the fish are, whether you're on a boat or on the bank. It can be some of the funnest times out there, guys. And when you hit a school, this is what's really cool. When you hit a school, you can catch two or three at a time, depending on how many hooks you have. I know there's a Matt with the Backlash Fisherman. He's in the comment. That guy catches doubles like it's nobody's tomorrow. He hits those schools, guys, and he catches double up on bass, and it's really cool. It's really cool, guys. So keeping up with the transition, following the bass where they're going. When you follow the bass where they're going, you start being able to put your bait in front of the bass. Yep. So next thing, guys, and I know you all know that it's important, whether you fish for pike, bass, crappie, whatever you do. Thank you. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Jordan. It's all right. Thank you for your support, brother, and I appreciate you stopping by. Whatever you're fishing for, guys, it doesn't matter. You know that you want to match the hatch. Yes, match the hatch. Whether you have shad, whatever gizzard shad, um, bluegill, whatever type of forage there are out there, that's out there that your fish eats. That's what you want to match. So whether you're fishing clear water, dirty water, dingy water, muddy water, whatever there may be, you want to match the hatch, guys. What does that mean, right? So if I have minnows, one of my favorite baits is a rattle trap. If Tim is still in here, Tim knows, what that rattle trap can do. What's going on, Bassing with Bama? I really appreciate you stopping by, brother. Tim knows what that rattle trap can do, guys. And that rattle trap during the fall, matching the hatch, can be deadly. Now I throw that thing all year round, but especially during the fall when the bass are schooled up You can catch them in many ways, guys. Thank you for stopping by, Kevin. I really appreciate it, brother. So you can catch them in many different ways, guys. There you go, Tim. 365. You can catch them all year around on the rattle trap. And my main, if I can even get to it, guys, my main rattle trap right there. That guy right there. We have a lot of shad, a lot of silver little gizzard shad around, and I'm always, guys, trying to match the hatch. So throwing that right there is me matching the hatch. You know, whether it's dirty, clear, dingy water, I'm matching the hatch, guys. I throw red hooks up there because it gives the bass something to key on to. So if you ever have the opportunity, never tried it before, guys, yeah, try it. Throw some red hooks up there. And what I did, guys, I experimented with those red hooks when I first started putting red hooks on my baits, guys. So I had a rattle trap, I put a red hook on the front. I had another rattle trap, same color, I put the red hook on the back. And it was so cool that those bass were keying on those red hooks. The one on the front, I was catching bass on the front hook. The one on the back, I was catching bass on the back hook. So what I've done, guys, I was like, you know what? If they're keying on that, I'm gonna put two red hooks up there and leave it like that. So that's what I did, guys, and it's been working for me. So Brian says, okay, a lot of minnows where I fish. I matched the hatch the other day. The water temps were in the 50s. You'll catch every species. You're right. You're so right. If you match the hatch, you can. That's what they're eating. I've caught bass. I've caught crappie. I've caught catfish, all in the same area, and they're all feeding off the same thing. And that's what's really cool about it. So we got match the hatch out the way. We got keeping up with the transition and guard. That's right. And guard, all on the same bait, all in the same area. So the next thing, guys, when I'm transitioning from summertime to fall time, I stop throwing baits that and pike. They all bite it. They all bite it. I stop throwing slower moving baits and I start throwing moving baits. Rattle trap, I already spilled the beans on it, but I'm throwing baits that I can cover a lot of water. I'm not babysitting one particular place. I'm covering a lot of water, guys. So in the fall, you want to cover a lot of water because you have to find the bass. Wherever they are, guys, you have to find them. So they may be here today, and then tomorrow they're in another location. So you have to follow the transition. So being able to find them and cover the water that you need to cover helps so much. And definitely that's a bait that's in there, Matt. That is a bait that's in there. So I'm gonna start from top water, guys, to hard water bait. Well, hard baits and then soft baits. So when I talk about top water, guys, I'm talking about, anything that runs on the top of the water. That's a good question, Brian. That's a good question. So I throw blade baits also, and I try to put them in the same category. So I would say that they're really similar, probably in the same category, not identical, but I can use a blade bait in the same place that I would use a rattle trap. A majority of the time, if I have deeper water, I'm vertically jigging the blade bait versus casting and winding. So that's the only difference for me. But they also, I think it's the silver minnow or something like that. that little blade bait that's about 2 inches catches them hands down. Get in the right area, you can catch white perch, yellow perch, bass, crappie, everything. So that's really cool. That's really cool. So top water baits that I'm throwing in the fall, the buzz bait. My hands down, my first bait that I'm choosing out of my box when I get on the water is a buzz bait. Whether or not it works right off is to be determined. But I've caught some really big bass, guys, throwing the buzz bait in the fall. Second bait, still top water, guys. I'm throwing a whopper plopper. So that bait gives you the opportunity that your bait isn't sinking down in the water, that it's staying on top of it, and you can fish that in a straight line. So that whopper plopper, you guys know if you throw the whopper plopper, you can get some giants, especially in the fall. Find the areas where the bait fish are. And if you have to downsize, it's 3 or 4 sizes of the whopper plopper. We know the 60, the 90, the 100, and the 130. So those right there, you already know, guys, that they produce. So still matching the hatch. Still matching the hatch, guys. Throwing the whopper plopper. Downsizing if you have to match the hatch to get those bass to bite. I just saw a question, guys. Just saw a question. Tim says, I have a question. Okay. If you have to pick just one, chatterbait or spinnerbait, why make me choose, Tim? This is bass fishing. If I had to choose spinnerbait or chatterbait, both, both. They both have a place. I like to throw my spinnerbaits against, hardwood structure and stuff like that. But I also like to throw my chatterbaits in similar areas. But I tend to fish my chatterbaits in more open water versus my spinnerbait, and that's just me. But if I had to choose one, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it, Tim. It would really be. That's a lot of pressure right there. Too much pressure, Tim. Too much pressure. It would have to be. I can't choose. I can't choose because both of them have a place for me. Both of them have a place, and I like both of them so much. I think I saw something else, guys. Matt says straight retrieve or pause, and I believe he was talking about. I think he was talking about the whopper plopper. So straight retrieve or the pause. I'm doing both because I'm trying to figure out what the bass want, Matt. And that's what our goal is. Trying to figure out what the bass want. And if I could figure out, just get one bite, that unlocks what could be the pattern of the day or the pattern of the night. One bite can tell you the whole story. And I'll detour real quick. And I'm probably about to tell about a bait that I haven't even got to yet. But the spinner bait, guys, that's one of my baits in my list, guys. And I was throwing a spinner bait a few days ago, casting it and retrieving it. I got one bite. I was like, okay, couple hours went by. When you're out there and you're grinding and you're trying to stick to one bait, some time will fly by really quick. So couple hours went by. I'm still throwing a spinner bait, guys. And then all of a sudden, I'm retrieving it, and I pause. I retrieve it, I pause. And on the drop, guys, I got nailed. And so I set the hook. The fish got off at the boat, but that told me the whole pattern. One, I needed to slow it down. Two, I needed to add a pause in it because they were right behind my bait, guys. So in doing so, taking that one little note, I unlocked the whole pattern and I started pausing and I started catching more bass. And that was really cool about the whole process, guys. So paying attention to those details, whether big or small, those diving birds, those minnows floating, excuse me, those minnows floating or something like that. Pay attention to those details. How the fish are reacting to your bait. Sometimes it's just a change of color. Maybe I'm matching the hatch too closely. And they like, wow, I can match the hatch too much. You start blending in with everything else. Yes, sound makes a difference, but then throwing on something that's outrageous like a fire tiger, all of a sudden you start catching bass. Same profile, different color, and you start catching them. And that's really cool, guys. It only takes those subtle changes, those little details. Okay, I'm gonna let's see. Let's see what we have here. Good one, good one, good one. All right, so two other things I named, and we're finished with the top water, guys. So, poppers. First time casting adventures, Clyde. He taught me how to use the popper. Watching this guy fish the popper off the bank, guys. Man, you see this right here? Like, wow, right? Wow. So from the popping and bringing up fish out of 13 feet of water, guys, was something that I never thought of. I would have threw something totally different as far as top water was concerned. But that popper really draws fish up. And so the same thing with the whopper plopper, changing the size to match the bait fish gets you bit, guys. Those that let's see. I always do pauses or pop like a popper. There we go. Yeah. Also with the whopper plopper, do the same thing. I found out over time of throwing the buzz bait, it's not always a steady retrieve that gets them to commit. Sometimes you just gotta, I can't explain it. And it looks like it's plopping. Looks like a shad popping on the water. And that can be all the difference. Changing up your cadence, guys. Frogs, too. Same thing in all the top water. If you have a lot of grass around, throwing a frog as top water this time of year, go ahead. Go ahead and do it. Let's see, Bonafide Tarzan. Thank you for stopping by the channel, brother. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Who we got? What is your fishing goal? Wow. So that's a good question, Bonafide. My fishing goal is to it's 5 for 15. Anytime I go out, guys, I want to catch 5 bass for 15 pounds. But my goal for this year, guys, aside of the 5 for 15, is to catch my personal best this year. Believe it or not, guys, like my personal best, the best fish that I've weighed has been 614. Yeah, 6 pounds and 14 ounces. Yeah. So I'm searching, guys, this year to break my PB, and I want to catch a 10 pounder. I'll work on, some other stuff down the road. And we've had some surprise catches this year. But I want to catch a 10 pounder. I want to catch, my personal best this year. So that's two of the goals that I really have for myself this year is to try to reach those, try to catch those big bass, those bigger bass. So thank you for asking that question, Bonafide. I really appreciate it. Bashing for Bama. Bashing and Bama. That is something that I didn't leave it out. It's in there. It's in there. But that Super Spook, that Spook Junior, that Hidden Spook, whatever you want to call it, that bait is in there too, especially when the bass are schooling and blowing up on bait fish. Those walk the dog baits are really cool. Really cool. Tight knots. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel, brother. I really, really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. There's a 10-pound bass out there just waiting for you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bonafide. Yes, sir. I believe that one right there. And I'm searching for it. I'm searching for it. The funny thing is, staying on that same topic, the funny thing is my wife told me when I was in the tournament, she was like, don't do anything fancy. Don't go out of your norm. Do what you've been doing to catch them. And those bass are in the same area that you've been fishing, that we've been fishing the whole time. I don't have to go. I tell my buddies, big bass are everywhere. They're just smarter than the smaller bass. They're not as aggressive as the smaller bass, but big bass are everywhere. From the ponds, the lakes, the rivers, the reservoirs, wherever you fish at, they are everywhere, guys. And that's one thing, if you focus on the little details, can get you those big bites. So I'm looking for that 10-pounder this year, guys, and I will keep y'all posted and updated on everything that's going on. Let's see, let's see. Don't want to miss anybody in the chat, guys. Man, Brian, you catch some amazing smallmouth out there in what, St. Sinclair? Yeah. So you catch Michigan, you catch some amazing fish out there, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised. But a 5-pound smallmouth is a 10-pound bass. The fight that those guys put up will challenge any largemouth any day, guys. So let's see what we got. Let's see what we have. I didn't even ask Brian, was it a smallmouth or a largemouth? I didn't even I assumed that it was a smallmouth, but it could have been a largemouth too, but we'll see. We'll see. So hard baits, guys, hard baits. So first bait I already named was a rattle trap. But my second bait I'm naming is a square bill. I throw those baits all year round also. But during the fall, you can still find those fish around ambush points. So finding those ambush points, guys, and fishing those ambush points, those structures, don't be afraid to throw your baits in the ugly stuff. Sometimes it looks like that bait will never come out of that piece of structure, but throw it in there, and that's where that giant could be sitting. You never know. You never know. I was so intimidated, guys, for a long time about throwing my $5 square bill into anything, that I was missing a lot of opportunities. So I started doing it, and that bait would come out. That's what it's made to do. Those square bills are made to deflect off a cover and get in and out. So sometimes they don't. But if you put it in the right place, if you take that chance, you never know, guys. And that's really something really cool about it. And Brian says that 5-pound small bass, his personal best, was a smallie. And I could only imagine the fight that thing put up. That would be, oh man, yeah. So square bill, throwing in the cover. Don't be afraid. Those ambush points, finding them. And there are times, guys, in shallow water, it may not be structure there, but throw it anyway and see what happens. You never know what can happen, guys. My next bait, and I know somebody's going to say something up here. I know exactly who he is, but the jerk bait, guys, the jerk bait. Throwing the jerk bait during the transition, during the fall, slowing it down. You can still work it really fast, guys. You can still work it really fast, but you have the opportunity to put your bait in front of a lot of bass, a lot of fish. And that jerk bait, that pause and jerk, can ignite the instinct of a bass to eat, even when they're not hungry, guys. And that's really, especially when the water temperature is dropping down lower, that jerkbait bite turns on and you can catch them, guys, on the jerkbait. And I haven't thrown it enough this year. I'm really behind on it. But that jerkbait, guys, in school and bass can be the thing that just turns the whole school on. And when you turn, Brian, what are you afraid of? That jerkbait could be what turns the whole school on. Next thing, guys, underspin. Sometimes it's just a little flash, a little something different. I should have. Yeah, can y'all see that? It's missing the eye. It's not perfect. Oh well, it's not missing the eye. But that underspin right there, guys. Throwing it in a schooling bass and just working it, swimming back. Sometimes you can hit it off the bottom if you have whatever type of bottom structure rocks or something like that, that blade bouncing around. That's so true, Bonafide. That's so true. I and that's something that I had to work on, guys. Throwing the jerk bait year round. I kind of have seasons for everything, and I'm on it and I'm off it. As long as the fish are biting, I'm on it, and then they start slowing down, I'm on to something else. But that jerk bait produces all year round. And the Smith wicks, I have a few of those, but they are some of the best. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, Brian, square bills and cover. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. When you throw that square bill in cover in that structure and it comes out and deflects off a branch, then all of a sudden your rod loads up. I promise you, Brian, you won't be scared anymore. What's going on, Rez? What's going on? Thank you, brother, for stopping by the channel. I really, really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Now, tight knots. First time casting adventures. I mean, I watched this guy write a book on the water, throwing a jerk bait. I'm like, man. And I was told that he was, no, he throws it very well. So I was told, and to see it in person, guys, the way that he works that jerk bait is not even like I work it. I do long pops. He does really short jerks. And I'm like, wait a minute. He's getting bites. Last year we were out, me, Backlash, Matt, and first time we're out. It was 30, no, 20 degrees. Correct me if I'm wrong. 20 degrees outside. And I can't tell you how we got out there. I did not want to go. But I can't tell you how it happened. But we were all out there, guys. And Clyde is the only person catching bass. And I'm like, my hands are cold, my feet are cold. I'm like, I'm going home. I'm going home. Bonafide, I believe, and tight knots, I believe. Clyde throws. I'm not for sure what, but they are Rapilas. Those are his favorite baits. Those Rapala jerk baits. He knows the names of them. They're his favorite jerk baits to throw. I have a favorite, guys, but it's nothing like, it's not a big name. It's just anything that I can catch bass on, I'm for it. My jerk bait of choice, guys. I'm gonna show it to you. It has a little war paint on it, but my jerk bait of choice, guys, is a Academy Sports brand. It's Academy Sports. It's the H2O brand, guys. It's just a bait that and that's the same thing for my rattle trap. I enjoy throwing those baits. They come with good hooks, nice price point, and I'm all about the price. Give me a clearance or something cheaper and it works. I am for it, guys. I am for it. Also, I know we talked about, let's say, spinner baits out there too, but chatter baits also. I'm throwing the chatter baits in the fall. I mean, whatever works, guys. That's where I'm going with it. A lot of times I'm jump fishing. I may have 5 or 6, 7, 11 rods on the boat, guys. At least 5 if I'm on the bank. I try to downsize. But with that right there, guys, I'm like, okay, okay, okay. I got something different on on every one of them. I got something different on every one of them, guys. So if I'm throwing one for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and it's not working, I pick up another one and I'm throwing. Brother Chris, thank you for stopping by the channel, brother. I really, really appreciate it. I really. Oh man, that might be a little bad. That might be a little bad. 45 rods. Oh man. But yeah, I have something different on every rod, guys. I have something different on every rod, and every rod, can pick up cast, because you never know. If you find some bass and they're schooling up and they're blowing up on baits, guys, and you pick up another rod and you're casting it, you're casting it, you're casting it, and then all of a sudden you see them somewhere else, pick up that other rod and cast, because you never know. You never know, guys, what can happen. You never know. I'm always ready, one in my hand and one ready to fire, because a big blow up could happen in the corner of my eye. Paying attention to the details, being aware of your surroundings, all plays a factor. I'm always ready to throw, guys. Throw something, especially when I see an explosion. And majority of the time, guys, it's a rattle trap. But whatever I have, whatever I have, guys, can be the one. All right. For those that may not enjoy losing hard baits, who was the Popper King? Oh, the same Popper King is the same person that's the jerkbait king. First time casting adventures. Hey Henry, thank you, brother, for stopping by the channel. I really, really appreciate it. We're just talking some bass fishing right now, fall transition, fishing in general, because it all plays a factor. We can all catch them wherever we are with anything that we use, guys. And I'm just breaking down some of the baits that I'm throwing. So I went from top water, guys, to hard baits, Now we're talking about soft baits. So that is our next step, guys. And I only have a few, but I want you guys to chime in on what soft baits that y'all are using during the fall. So one of my first baits, guys, I'm using a fluke. I like a double rig. I actually have one rigged up right now, but a double rig is when you have two flukes on the same line. I connect them with swivels to prevent line twists, and that's what I use. I like to fish it when there are places where the grass is still growing, the grass is still high, or structure that you don't want to throw it into. Throw something soft. Those soft plastic jerk baits are amazing. Are amazing, especially this time of year. And if you ever hook up with two bass at a time, you're gonna be like, we just did something crazy. We just did something crazy. So that's really cool, guys. Um, Tim says Cinco's, the black and blue Cinco's forever. Yes, yes. When it comes down to fishing the fall time, from summertime, I'm throwing curly tail worms and everything. And then when it gets to the fall, I transition to straight worms. I'm transition. I want the same movement, but those straight worms, it's something different about it. Other than a straight tail, you got a straight worm. Yeah, it's something different about it, guys, and that difference can be the one that gets you bit. Let's see here. Tight Knot said something. I've been using a Z-Man Willow vibe and or a underspin with the Z-Man Diesel Minnow, working pretty well in Texas, the San Antonio area. I just got on Tight Knots, that Willow vibe. Now that's something that I'm like still getting used to. It's like it's a chatterbait, but it's not a chatterbait. You can put any trailer, no skirt or anything on it. And I've been doing something similar with that, downsizing, because for a fourth of an ounce, it's pretty cool. It's pretty heavy. You can cast that a mile. Just put on whatever bait, fluke, diesel minnow. What else you put up there? Whatever you want to put up there, and that's really cool, guys. So let's see what else. What else is? What else is? I don't want to miss anything, guys. Let's see here. Let's see here. Gotta always have one tied on, Brian. That's so true. That is so true. I love the underspins too. Let's see what we're. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Cinnamon brown Cinco. I have to try that. I have to try that. Um, I never tried the cinnamon. I usually go, in a more natural color. Well, cinnamon is a natural. It's like a brownish color, but I never used that. So that's something that I'm gonna have to get. And I've actually seen you throw those. I think they're bruiser baits, right? Right, Chris? I think they're bruiser baits. So I'm gonna have to definitely find me some cinnamon, well, let's see cinnamon brown Cinco's. Definitely gonna have to find me some cinnamon brown Cinco's. Let's see, let's see. Keep throwing it. Keep throwing it, Bassin and Bama. You never know when it's gonna happen. You never know. And then when you do catch one, play around with it just a little while. And we're talking about that double rigged fluke. If you hook up with one, normally they're traveling together, they're feeding in bunches. So yeah. So play around with it, and then you never know when that other bass is going to come up and nail it. I've seen bass come up and try to take the bait out of another bass's mouth, and that's going to be another story, guys. I can't tell you about it right now. But I've seen it happen, guys, and it's times like that where you double up. You double up. So let's see. Let's see. Tickle Z's on fire. Him's been there. Oh man, Henry all the time, all the time. When I see Henry throw a Ned rig, guys, I am like, yeah. When I see Henry throw a Ned rig, I'm like, oh, oh, oh. I need to try that. I've tried it before, guys, but it's not like something that I've solely put the time into. But that's something that I have to work on, guys, because the Ned rig doesn't only catch smaller bass. Henry caught a, let me see, was it a, he caught a muskie, guys, on a Ned rig. That was the coolest thing ever I ever seen. He caught a muskie on a Ned rig, guys, and that's really, 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 really cool. So let's see, show here. So much so you've been having trouble catching any, well, throwing anything else. That's how I feel about the rattle trap, guys. That is how I feel about the rattle trap. Let's see. I need to try the cinnamon brown too. I won some in a giveaway. Never tried them yet. That's the funny thing, and we'll get back, guys. But the funny thing, guys, is when it gets tough. When you're sometimes when I get out, guys, I'm throwing the baits that I throw all the time. I'm throwing, my rattle trap, my square bill, my underspin, my spinner bait or my chatter bait, a big worm or something like that. I'm always throwing that. But when it doesn't work, that gives us an opportunity to throw something else, something that I haven't been throwing. I just a short story, guys. Detour. When I first started throwing jigs, guys, I had to leave everything else at the house because I wanted to focus on learning how to throw a certain bait. I had to get myself out of my comfort zone, which was throwing these baits that I'm comfortable with and taking a box of jigs and just throwing those. So, guys, if you ever have any baits that you're not so sure about, or you want to perfect or learn more about or get some bites on, take that. Leave everything else at home. And that's the hardest thing to do. Leave everything else at home and take those baits and fish them until you learn them or you catch something on them. And that's how it happens. Last year, I've always had a jig tied on, but last year was the year that I unlocked the jig. I started getting bites and I started figuring out where to throw them, how to work them, how it feels, how it responds when I move it. And that was my key of putting that time in to catch and to learn a bait that was different to me. When I first started bass fishing, guys, I threw the Cinco all the time. I enjoyed throwing the Cinco all the time. And if you wanted to ask me the color, watermelon red flake. There wasn't any other color out there. But I had to get away from that if I wanted to broaden my horizon. And that's where the bait monkey came in, guys. Okay, I'm back. That's where the bait monkey came in. But jig fishing takes a little adjustment and trial and error. Once you get it, you get it. And that's so true. That's so true. Once you get what it is, you got it. You got it. No matter what bait it is, guys, once you figure it out, once you unlock that bait, you got it. You got it. And that's for any bait. Like my favorite bait is the rattle trap. I feel like I unlocked the rattle trap because I know where to fish it and how to fish it. So we got about 10 minutes, guys, before we close this thing out. And again, I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by the channel, for supporting, guys, for being so, oh man, just I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Let's see. That's how I perfected the Cinco, Patrick. I couldn't catch one forever. Then I unlocked it. And it's been a go-to in the summer ever since. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. I've had some baits, guys, that I felt like I gave up on in the past. And then you pick it up and you catch some fish when you wasn't catching anything else on it. Uh, Bonafide, just take it slow. Just take it slow. I mean, I throw majority of my worms between, I'm talking about, ooh, man, from spawn to about August, September. I'll give it September, depending on where you're at. I throw worms all through there. But take your time. Be patient. Patience is the key. Take your time. Be patient with it. And they will work. Once you unlock that worm, you'll be like, oh, we got it. We got it. We got it. I know what to look for. I know what to feel. I know how it feels coming through rock, through grass, through mud, through whatever's down there. And putting it in areas where it counts. Somebody once said, guys, that out of 100% of the water, the bass are in 10%. That's crazy, right? So I can eliminate 90% of what they call dead water to fish the areas that are more productive. I mentioned it earlier, but flats, points, humps, a lot of times, guys, I believe it. I believe it. A lot of times, guys, I stumble upon places that I don't know that have brush piles, that have humps, that have rock piles. I stumble upon places like that by mistake. I get snagged up in a brush pile that I never knew was there. So there you are. There you are. You're figuring out a place and figuring out stuff that you didn't even know was there by mistake that holds fish. I mean, it's cool. It's really cool. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything, guys. It said, never caught one on a jig. Jig kryptonite. I just keep throwing it. Just keep. And I know that smallmouth like a smaller profile. So instead of getting a full size jig, get like the smaller ones. What are they called? I can't even call the name of them right now, but get the smaller ones. the Yeah, get the smaller ones, guys, and Brian, and see what happens. Tim says when you walk up to a new spot, let me see what. When you walk up to a new spot as a bank angler, what are you looking for? That's good. To a new spot. I'm looking for, I like to find if that place has points, if it has some little area, I'm looking at the structure around the pond. I'm looking at places that jut out or places where it looks like there's hills up here and it looks like it's a deeper water. So I'm looking for stuff like that. There you go. Fallen trees hanging in the water, any type of wood structure. I have one place that I go to, guys, and it has a nice point. I never knew that underneath that point was, that how far that point went out. All I knew was that it was a point. So a lot of times, guys, when I'm bank fishing, I'm fishing points. I'm fishing places, and that's how you figure them out. Like Henry said, those stumps, like Bonafide is saying, the shade, the grass along the banks, all those are places that we can fish. And that's you figure out it along the way. It's not always the same thing. I've been on one pattern in one pond and switched over to another pond that's 10 feet away and have to start all over again. So, like everybody was saying, shade along the bank. Let's see. What else? What else they were saying? Fallen trees, points, shallow areas, guys. You can tell if an area is shallow by the way that your lure falls. If it hits the water immediately and it stops, you know it's shallow. So trying to figure out how deep the water is or how long it takes your lure to hit the bottom can tell you where you're fishing at too. So if you go from immediately your bait stops once it hits the water to all of a sudden you throw it somewhere else and it drops down, you know, seems like 5 or 6 seconds, like, wait a minute, it's like this. That can be a ledge. I need to fish that ledge. I need to fish that area because that is an ambush point, guys. Let's see, life around the bank. Oh man, that's cool. And guys, y'all are giving up so much helpful information. If there's one person in here, Brian, thank you. Thank you so much. And you can do it. You can do it. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. But I'll be looking forward to your first live, brother. But take it easy. Have a good night, Brian. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Oh man, I lost it. I lost it. It was here. It was here, but yeah. Life around the bank. Whether minnows, first time said it. If you are in those areas and you're looking around, that's about matching the hatch, guys. If you see frogs, hey, why not throw a frog underneath that fallen limb over there and see what happens? Why not throw a minnow over there? Why not throw something that matches the hatch over there and see what happens, guys? So that's really cool. To finish off, guys, I got Cincos in there. I think we hit Cincos. I got some colors that I have to try. If you see a small brook dropping off into a river, usually a nice big fish is waiting for bait fish. That's so true. Those ambush points. It doesn't have to be anything outrageous. Just something, the mouth of a creek. That works. And tight knots. Henry, tight knots. He fishes a lot of creeks. He hikes a lot and fishes a lot of those creeks and those really remote areas. But that's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So whatever you find out, guys, whatever you find out, small baits like small fish is really what I look for when I'm walking up to a pond. There you go. Matching the hatch, guys. Matching the hatch. Um, So before I get off, guys, it has been about an hour, and I thank y'all for stopping by, for supporting, for commenting, and all that, and that bag of chips, guys. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed this. I thought twice about doing this, and then I was like, well, I already put it out there. And I thank y'all for coming by and stopping by and supporting, guys. One thing that I want to say, one thing that I want to say, guys, um, if there are people in here that you're not connected to, um, it's a lot of people having channels in here. Um, Connect to those people. It's about continuing to build a community and continuing to support people. And that's what it's all about, guys. So without further ado, thank y'all so very much for stopping by the channel, for chatting and supporting. I really appreciate it. Like I said, connect with those that were in the in the chats, guys. Everybody, and I mean it, guys. Everybody in these chats, everybody has a great channel and has great content that they're putting out. So I promise you, you won't be disappointed. I have some catching up to do and everything like that. Guys, signing off here. As always, be blessed, stay blessed, and I will see you guys on the next adventure. Peace. Y'all have a good night.